Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock on Monday, November 17th, 2025, and we will call this Sault Ste. Marie City Commission meeting to order. Do we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gary,
Here.
Commissioner Bauer,
Here.
Commissioner Bospas-Rath,
Here.
Commissioner Talentino,
Here.
Commissioner Habusta, Commissioner Marble,
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
Commissioner Habusta did call, and he's out of town and unable to make the meeting, so we'd need a motion to excuse.
Motion to excuse.
Support.
All in favor of excusing him, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? He is excused. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Just a couple announcements this evening. Under the Radar Michigan TV show, we'll have a brand new Sault Ste. Marie episode, and it will be airing on Thanksgiving. And tomorrow night, there will be a pre-premiere watch party, November 18th, 2025, at Bird's Eye Outfitters from 5 till 6. There's pre-show trivia at 5 p.m. and episode screening at 5:30. So come one and come all. Also on Wednesday, the 19th, we'll finally see the placement of the Native American and French fur trader sculptures on the I-75 Business Spur roundabout. Thanks to Sailor Creek Contracting and their crane. They will be coordinating with CVB and City Engineering Department, and completion is expected within the closure window, weather permitting. So watch for that. I think it's between 11 and 12 on Wednesday. Is that when the lane closures are? Somewhere in that range. I got a nod. So thanks to Dr. Tom Robinson for his persistence and pushing that project forward. It's going to be a great addition to the city of Sault Ste. Marie. So we'll move on into, looks like public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to register any time to make comments on any of our scheduled agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move right along into the consent agenda. Deputy City Clerk Erica Gordon.
Thank you. Item 1 is the approval of City Commission meeting minutes of November 3rd, 2025. Item 2 is the acceptance of the Downtown Development Authority meeting minutes of October 8th and October 9th, 2025. Item 3 is acceptance of the Park and Recreation Advisory Board meeting minutes of August 26th, 2025. Item 4 is reappointment of Kelly Freeman to the EUP Regional Planning and Development Commission Governing Board. Item 5 is appointment of Ryan Bennett to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Item 6 is authorize the purchase of generic time for Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System by Susan Anderson. Item 7, consideration of a budget amendment from McGraw-Morris for attorney services. Item 8, consideration of payment to Mercino for West 25th Avenue Sewer Force Main Project. Item 9 is consideration of a request for the city to collect the 2026 summer property taxes for Sioux Area Public Schools. Item 10, consideration of budget amendment for Tax Increment Finance Authority Unit 3 for Sanderson Field Equipment. Item 11, approval of consent agenda items.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk Gordon. Would any commissioner like any of these items further explained or removed for individual consideration? Seeing none, Commissioner Bauer.
So moved, we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Now we'll move on into item E, which is special orders of business. Acting City Manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1 under special orders of business is first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 3, Parking, Stopping, and Standing, Chapter 24, Traffic and Motor Vehicle of the Sault Ste. Marie Code of Ordinance, and schedule a second reading for the December 1st, 2025 City Commission meeting. This matter's been before the Commission at 3 prior City Commission meetings, so it's coming back before you today to redefine the overnight hours specifically for the downtown specific area. Any outside area will be 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. So this is just a first reading. There'll be a public notice between this meeting and the next meeting. So the action on this is just to motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance as presented and schedule the second reading for the December 1st, 2025 City Commission meeting.
Thank you, Acting City Manager Troyer. Anybody have any questions on this one? Commissioner Bauer?
I do have one question, and if maybe somebody could explain this, it'd be great, because I think there might be a mistake, but maybe it's just me. It's under subsection D here. No person shall park on the odd-numbered address side of any street from December 1st to April 1st unless, and then you go 3 down and it says, the odd-numbered side is otherwise posted as no parking. If the odd-numbered side is posted as no parking, then why would you have to prevent people from parking on that side of the street? Should that not be if the even-numbered side is posted as no parking, then you can park on the odd side of the street? That makes more sense to me. You see what I'm saying?
You're looking under section D.
Yeah, section
No
D.
person shall be.
It used to be B, now it's D. Where it says, no person shall park on the odd-numbered address side of the street unless the odd-numbered side of the street is otherwise posted as no parking. That does not make sense to me.
Okay, we'll review that and make sure that it's clarified before publication and coming back before the commission at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Bosbus-Rath, would you like to make a motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance as presented and schedule a second reading for the December 1st, 2025 City Commission meeting.
Support.
So we have motion and support. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Moving on into item F, communications. Acting City Manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item up is a 2025 engineering and construction project update. And our staff engineer and city engineer are going to present on this, and when they're finished, I'll have a few comments to make. City engineer David Boyle and staff engineer Morgan Buckmaster.
Good evening.
Morgan's gonna run it, because she put it together. If you don't know, this is Morgan Buckmaster, she's our staff engineer, so she's been with it, how long have you been with us now? A year?
Year and a half now?
Year and a half.
Yeah.
It's on. Okay, so where did the summer go, right? So this is a picture that Morgan took. This is the carbide dock. We really like this one because if you take a look on the left there, we're hauling out salt from there and we go all over the eastern end of the UP. We have a cruise ship in our dock. And then right on the right there, we have a crane on our crane pad picking up articulating concrete pads that we used as protection for the intake project up on the treatment plant. So, and when you look at that, that was everything we thought we'd be able to do with it, right? So there it is. So to get into our projects, we'll start off with the carbide dock. We finally finished it late in the fall because we had to wait. We were working on our shore power equipment. It took like 21 months to get the control center for that. But we finally got it in. We actually put it in service 3 weeks ago, I think. The one charging station that's out by the command center right now has plug-ins for any kind of electrical car, and we're the only ones that have that kind of a station in the whole eastern end of the UP. So, and it's up and running right now. And so you can charge up your car and we can make revenue on it, so. So right now, we're just, we're going through and closing out the project. We got a few punch list items we're waiting for Rowan to finish up. And hopefully we'll get them done this fall, and this winter we'll put it to rest. All right, our next project is wastewater treatment plant upgrades, which we started last year. Like we said before, or at the last meeting, we started out at the front of the plant. We're working backwards. The headworks really is getting a big boost with new screw pumps, new gates, new mechanical and electrical improvements in there. So then we just started the phase two work a month or so ago. So actually we were pretty much set up to get into that construction. So the contractor is pretty much got the whole thing going on right now with both phases. Okay, Morgan, take the next one.
So for our Peck and Meridian improvements, our main goal was to replace the storm, sanitary, and water main, and also close the combined sewer overflows within the neighborhood, which would help with the environmental and regulatory improvements. So in the 2025 construction season, we were able to do that. So we replaced all those underground utilities, and we also got the roadway fully repaved and reconstructed and closed those CSOs. And with the final work that we have left to do, we have those driveways to do, sidewalks, some restoration, and manhole adjustments. And we'll come back in the spring and do that with the weather permitting. So. Then we have our water treatment plant intake pipe. So the goal for this was to replace a portion of the water intake pipe at the plant, which intakes the raw water and takes it to the facility. And then we replaced 275 feet of pipe. And then during the construction, we did video inspections before, during, and after, just to ensure for quality. Then we put in bedding stone underneath the pipe for extra support. And then we also added armor stone around the pipe and marine mattress also around the pipe and on top of it. So some of the pictures that I also wanted to point out were, we have like a barge picture in the top left, and that is what our contractor was working on top of. And then in the bottom left, we have like the bucket where the stone was being dropped into the water. And then we actually included like a screenshot from one of the inspection videos where the marine mattress was being placed on the pipe. And then in the bottom picture is a picture of the dive shack where the divers were communicating with the barge.
Okay, the next project is kind of a unique project for us, and this is one that Kirk's department did. It was the West 25th Avenue force main. It was a sanitary sewer force main that was continually breaking. So this main went from the pump station and actually went under Business Route 75 over to another manhole. So it was gonna be pretty tough to dig this one up and replace it. So this is a good example of us looking for different types of ways to repair our pipes that we have, like especially our forced mains. We'll get a little bit farther, or we're looking at the same thing for doing some water main work too, but we used flexible fiber reinforced pipe for this operation. So the contractor that we had that did it, I think he did it in 2 days, right, Kirk? Yeah. So 2 days. Probably would have took us 2 months to dig it all up and put a new force main in.
Then for our I-500 Raceway enhancements, this one was done in partnership with our Convention for Visitors Bureau. And the goal for this project was to kind of enhance the track to make it usable for like year-round events like concerts and recreational activities. So what we did this season was we had the entrance road paved, and then we also like gravelled the parking lot. Then we upgraded some of the electrical to make it more usable for like the snowmobile pit crews, concerts, and then we also did some bluff grading for improved spectator views, added a walking path, and added this vendor building, and added some safety fencing, and helped with some of the drainage issues down there for site maintenance.
All right, so we're not done with construction. So just to give you a little heads up here, what's gonna happen in 2026. We do have a number of projects, not just SRF stuff going on. Remember when we just talked about the force main, we got the East Portage Bridge, that's right down here. The water main blew a hole in it, and it couldn't be fixed conventional ways. So we're gonna try the FFRP lining under that one. We've already bid that job, you guys approved it. We're getting it all set up to go. And then the DWSRF projects, Riverside, Ryan, and East Portage Avenue will be going next summer. Riverside Drive is gonna be the first project. We told them that's the one that was most important to us to get going. We got a little, small urban project, Market Avenue by the school, mill and overlay, so we're gonna go from Ashman to Seymour. And hopefully the tribe has their raised grant, and they're gonna go from Seymour to Shunk Road, so hopefully over the winter, we're gonna be getting into working through all those. We'll have the power canal, the one that's been on hold over here. That's Power Canal 2, which is from Bingham to Johnston. We should be able to do that right after we get done doing the sanitary sewer realignment that's over in that area. We have bridge maintenance work that we're doing through MDOT for West Portage, 4th and Riverside Avenue bridges. Then we just talked about the Power Canal sanitary sewer lining and realignment. That's over behind the police station. Wastewater treatment plant will be continuing going. And then we have Peckham Meridian project will be picking up. Actually, one thing more, we still have one alleyway in Peckham Meridian that we had to get to, but we didn't tackle it this year because has rock, and we couldn't blast in the alley, and it's all gonna have to be mechanically taken out of there, so it's gonna take a little work to get that in there, so we didn't think we'd get it done this fall, so we put that off till spring. And then we have Meridian and Easter Day signal work that got waylaid this year because of archaeological issues, because the university is a historical site. But right now we've been through SHPO, NEPO. We got our new easements and stuff were put in, so it looks like we're going towards bidding here, so hopefully we'll get that one started in the spring too. But from what we're hearing, the controller for these new signals and PED signals is probably an 18-month lead time too, so it could be a 2-year project by the time we get to it. So that's what we have going on for next year. Any questions?
Any questions for Dave or Morgan? Great presentation, thank you. 2
So-
pages of projects for next year.
So I just wanted to take a minute, if I may, to recognize the engineering department. As you can see, they've done a lot of work. We have short construction season. This is when planning starts for future construction season. So again, Dave Boyle, our city engineer, Morgan Buckmaster, our staff engineer, Taryn Horton, our engineering project specialist, is in the audience if you want to stand up real quick, Taryn, so. No.
Or wave.
And Joe Miller is our engineering technician, GIS specialist. I don't think he's with us tonight. So our engineering department is a staff of 4. They do an amazing job. They're a workhorse department in turning around projects. So I just wanted to recognize them and thank them for the work that they do.
Thank you.
Great comments, thank you. We'll see you again soon.
Yep.
So, under F, communications, number 2, acting city manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 2 is from SMG Development Group, consideration of resolution of support, CDBG letter of intent for Lincoln School redevelopment project, and I am going to turn this over to Mr. Josh Billington.
Evening, Josh.
Mayor and Commissioners. Just a quick notice, have a team together, development team together. We're working with Sioux Area Public Schools and Community Action to figure out how we can redevelop the Lincoln School property. And we have a pretty good plan in place that always is subject to change, but part of that is to apply for the MISTA CBDG Community Development Block Grant that is available. The process in applying for that, obviously a municipality has to apply for it, and the first part of that is a letter of intent from the city that has a deadline of December 4th. So I wanted to appeal to you to see if administration, if you would allow the administration to apply for this grant. Doesn't mean we have to take it, but it would definitely help in the development of this project. And that's about all I've got.
Really is on Do Not Disturb.
So for now, that's that's the request.
All right, and I think,
And you have a packet of the development team that I'm working with here to get this underway. So we just submitted something similar to this to New Buffalo Public Schools, who has another housing project going on too down in Berrien County. So
all right, anybody have any questions for Josh or any of the materials? Commissioner Rubenstein.
Thank you. Josh, can you just talk a little bit about the AMI levels mentioned in the report? I think it would be good for everyone to hear because
Sure.
it's surprising where those actually land.
absolutely, yeah. The CBDG grant for MISTA requires that we do 80% AMI or below. I think 50% of the units have to be at 80% AMI or below. You can't make much money on anything less than 80% AMI. So we're going to shoot for a target of 80% AMI on these. Like I said, this is all in the preliminary stages of planning and things can change, but this definitely, the CBDG grant would definitely help in our capital stack for this project. So market rate is about 80% AMI for our county, and that's kind of what we're shooting for. That and above, 80% to 120 is the rate.
And then is it just for a set number of years that it has to be there, or how?
It depends. It depends on a couple of things, I think. I'm not exactly sure if if there's a time allocation to the CBDG grant. I don't think there is. I don't remember reading one, but like I said, this is the beginning part of the process, and we can figure out what will work and what won't.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? So in our packet, we had a copy of the letter of support that Mr. Billington is requesting. Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody want to make a motion? Mr. Rubenstein.
Motion to adopt the resolution in support of the CDBG letter of intent for the Lincoln School redevelopment project and authorize the interim city manager to submit the letter of intent to MISTA and execute all related documents concerning the application to the CDBG grant.
Support.
Motion support, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Great,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much, Josh and supporters. Appreciate you all being here tonight. We'll move on into item F, communications, communication with Matt Wilkes. So, Mr. Wilkes.
Good evening again, thank you. Matt Wilkes. Hey, I just wanted to make sure you are aware, you may or may not be. At the last DDA meeting, they, the letter that I wrote last week or 2 weeks ago, they tabled the item pending review. I think that's okay at this point. They're supposed to deal with it at their next meeting, but I'm under the strong impression that the issues will be dealt with in the letters that were raised at their December meeting to try and satisfy the issues that were raised. So I just want to make sure you were aware of that, and I know you are, Don, because you were at the meeting. And that's, and again, I do appreciate you giving me a little bit of time here. I'm not going to take any more. I just want to make sure, and I appreciate you. We clearly have a difference of opinion, so I do appreciate you attaching it to the agenda so the public can see both sides of the argument. So that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll move into item G, business items. Number 1, acting city manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1 is the 2026 Clean Water State Revolving Fund Phase 3. This is coming back before the City Commission. We had a presentation at the last meeting, so the commission had an opportunity to review the information and have an opportunity to visit the wastewater treatment plant to kind of see the work that has been done or what is proposed to be done. So we're going to run through the PowerPoint presentation again. Hopefully it'll come up on the screen for the people in the audience, and the public at home will be able to see. And then after the presentation, we'd look for the commission to take 2 actions on the matter. So city engineer Dave Boyle is going to start us off, and then we'll have a team of presenters on this request.
Solo appearance, eh?
I thought they were following me.
Yeah, nobody following you up there.
Leaving me hanging again.
At least we have the visual aid this meeting, so that's good.
Yeah, so seeing we got it to work, and after we had some questions and some site visits and stuff, questions there, we added a few things to it, so figured we'll let the public be able to see what we presented the last time, plus with some new items, so here we go again. So this was our original phased approach. We had the 3 priority type projects. Mostly it was based on doing our action plans and other items we had that were pending in our permit that we needed to do. This is how our phased approach is set up now. The first thing that first phase that we did, we couldn't get all of the treatment plant items in there, so a lot of them got moved to phase 2. And now in phase 3, the items that we intended with the treatment plant are in phase 3 for this go around. We did move around some of the collection system items, and we put the collection system modeling up in the first phase because we were having a hard time trying to figure out where we're getting all the I&I in our system, and that's going to be important for us to try to fix that sometime in the future. But we moved all those projects over to the far right because we got to figure out actually where everything's coming, and we probably have some other opportunities for other funding that we can do for those. This is our project history that we had, some of the stuff that I've already talked about. So our fiscal year 26 is the 4.6 million and the 30 million in loan. This was a little telling picture that we put together, what vintage the treatment plant was and what we fixed. So we tried to start, when we started this, we started up here in the green, 1958. Hadn't any of that, it hadn't been touched. And then we've been working backwards towards the river. So if you've been out there when you did the plant tours, or whenever you've been out the plant tours, you can tell that a lot of that first stuff was 1958. Okay, so this is how the project's been setting up, and we've been really concentrating on the treatment plant, because the treatment plant for the 1958 stuff should probably be in its second reno, and the 86 stuff is be in its first reno. And then we have the collection systems up there in the red, and that's mostly our CSO work that we needed to do, and our main sewer line collapsing that we were fixing with this. So so then we just added in here, that, well, what I just said about, if we get this treatment plant fixed now, we're projecting that with maintenance and everything, we should be out another 30, 40 years before we need to do something with it. Okay, now, with that, I'm gonna turn it over to one of my colleagues, Brian.
Okay. How do I move it? Oh, right there, got it.
You want me to do it?
No, I think I can figure it out.
Okay.
So, this third phase will be handling the solids handling, digester upgrades, and disinfection. All of that stuff is, 2 of the digesters are 58 models. The chlorine contact chamber is a 58 model, and the other 2 bigger digesters are 86. So, they haven't been touched in quite some time. Some of you have come through, the pictures don't do them justice, but you can see that they're not in that great a condition. The insulation's coming off of them. The lids that are supposed to move up and down with gas pressure don't move up and down. We cannot use our flare. It hasn't worked in quite some time. So this would be huge for us to be able to store, produce, and use the gas as it's intended. The chlorine contact chamber, the one on the right, the existing tank, that is from 1958. And then we would be adding a second one next to the digester there to get us a little more contact time with our chlorine to make it safer, better going out to the river. And I think I hand this one back off to you, Dave. Okay, thank you.
All right, so with this slide, we were just trying to, with this money that was presented to us from Eagle, we were just kind of trying to show why it was a good option at this time to do the work and use the grants and the funding that we got from Eagle. So right now we've been, for the type of project that we're looking at, we've been looking at about 24% inflation from year to year. The general construction inflation is like 4%. A lot of the reason why the 24% is so high is because right now we're putting in a lot of new electrical mechanical equipment, which is at this time pricey. Then we have economy of scale. Right now we have a contractor that's down there that's doing the first 2 phases. We have to go out to bid and stuff, but That's always helpful in our favor if we already have a contractor on site, because hopefully we can save some money on his mobilization, because he's there already if he wins the bid. And then the SRF funding, which after this year now is changing how they're doing ranking and what types of projects they're gonna be looking at, and what debt forgiveness is gonna be out there and stuff. So it's always, every year, like I said before, it's like going to the casino, you just don't know what you might get. The next slide that we had was just trying to show, it's like an engineering thing, the laws of fives. If you don't do the maintenance on the facilities, it goes up in fives for every year that you don't do that. Okay, so for the collection system that we're planned in this part of the phase is in the yellow. This is our main interceptor that goes along the canal. The blue stuff that we have, some of that we're gonna reconstruct. That's next summer's project. We're not gonna be able to do that with the yellow stuff because we're too close to the canal. Cloverland doesn't want us to get in there because of technical issues. So we worked out with Eagle Forest to do pipelining and pipe and manhole rehab, which they don't usually do. They'd rather replace everything. So that was a big plus for us. Plus, we're hoping that it's gonna save us some money, because that sewer flows, 2/3 flow all the time, and the bypass pumping is gonna be horrendous. So, not to bore you on some of this, but this is what some of it looks like in there. So it's collapsing. We got leaky joints that the water's just flowing in, especially so close to the canal. Okay, and with that, then I'm going to turn it over to finance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So with each debt issuance, when we contemplate these, we do a thorough analysis of our ability to repay that debt. One of those measures is a common measure we call the debt service coverage ratio. It measures the income that we have coming in, it deducts the expenses pre-debt, and then it takes how much of that is gonna cover the debt. Anything over 1 times is healthy. If it's under 1, then we're looking at what we can do. Do we need to raise water rates more? Do we need to pull down on draw down on our reserves? So we took a look at that, and the blue line at the very top is our current debt service ratio before we add any new debt. So that's what we have right now. The 3 lines below are all fairly similar. The green one is the 26-27 if we were to divide it into 2 parts, because we talked about, can we defer some? But then we looked at, the 24% inflationary rate in this market, which kind of makes it a no-go. The red line there is just taking it all on in 2026, and you can see how that and the purple line are fairly close. The purple line, a little bit above it, because we talked about just what if we could only do the 20 million? What if we just defer the remainder of that project? We don't want to kick the can down the road, and as was mentioned, the concern there is that we may not be eligible for this 2% loan rate, and that we may not be eligible for the 13% principal forgiveness, which is a real good rate of grant per loan. So we took a look at all these and are recommending the red line, which is taking it all on in the 2026 debt while we have it guaranteed in front of us.
All right. The next slide on the PowerPoint presentation talks about water rates. Because this is all paid for by the customers who consume water. We are proposing the water rates to increase an additional 1% from where they were already approved to be for the 2026 fiscal year. So when we budgeted this current fiscal year, we were proposing a 3.2% increase in water rates to pay for the SRFs and the existing debt and the existing costs of the water sewer system. With this added debt, we're looking at an average increase over the next 10 years of 1%. So rates will be on average 4.22% increase over the next 10 years. So if you look on the graph, the orange bar is where we're proposing rates to go over the next 10 years, and the blue line is where we were proposing them to be this year when we budgeted. So the difference in the two over, if you look at 2035, is about a $10 a month increase for an average customer who consumes 5,000 gallons a month, which is probably a 4 to 5 person household.
But next year, it would be $2.50 per month for that same household.
Yeah. The next slide is some data that we gathered comparing the water rates for Sault Ste. Marie to some peer cities that we have. And as you can see, this is currently, we fall right in the middle of our peer cities of where we, what the cost is. And even with the proposed increases, we will still be right in line and well under some of the other cities that we researched. Brian Masterson had us call Gladstone recently, who did work on their plant just like we're proposing now, and they were $195 a month currently for 5,000 gallons a month. So just to compare where we lie compared to other peer cities comparable to us.
It helps to take a look at that average, 153. So, you know, we're in the median, we're below the median, but we're also below the average.
This next slide touches on the water and sewer capital reserves that we have, because to keep the rates at a level that our customers can manage, and that is not to increase them at an unreasonable rate, we will be drawing down on some of the reserves. We estimated that they will be able to maintain, but the typical spending level that they have will be severely decreased from what we do right now. They will average to have about $345,000 a year to spend out of the reserves between water and wastewater. We don't anticipate wastewater to need a lot of things because the plant is being upgraded, but this would help cover any emergency purchases and anything that winds up on the 6-year CIP, things like that. There are other funding sources that can be used. Engineering is always looking for more ways to fund projects, but this would be a severe decrease from where we have, but in talks, they have said it is manageable over the next 10 years.
Any questions for us before we go? Okay, we're gonna hand it back over to Dave.
Just Callie or Kristen, could you go back to the slide and show if there was an additional 1% increase? Yeah, that one on the base current rate.
So, yeah, if we chose to increase water rates above the 4% that we're proposing, it will increase revenues. And for every 1% that we increase water rates, it generates about $1 million in revenue. So it's really up to the commission as to what they would like to see. You're not set to keep them at 4%. You could propose a larger increase and then try to level it back out to help put more money into the reserves. It could be something that we look at setting the rates. You know, we talk about, we got budget time, we want to up them at 5% for the next year and then try to level it back out. Those are all decisions that can be made, but what we're anticipating is at least a 4% increase over the next 10 years, if not the commission chooses to be higher, because like I said, you guys set those rates.
Mr. Rubenstein.
Thank you. So as an example, because I'm supportive of this project, but I feel uncomfortable increasing it above what would actually be needed. But what you're saying is, so I'll use phase 2 as an example. A lot of that came in below what we were estimating. So we could approve this at just the minimum needed to be able to do the project. And then, you know, if bids came in low again, great. We don't need to have a 1-year increase more than that. But if for some reason they came in higher, then we could look at that. There's some flexibility there, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, if bids came in lower, we would look to see what the total project costs are gonna be at that point. Water rates are not gonna be set right now. We won't set them until budget time, and that's when we have to look through all the department requests in the 6-year CIP. We look at consumption rates, and there always seems to be slightly decreasing, but we look at a variety of factors. But we are anticipating, like I said, at least that 4%, to at least have a minimum amount in reserves, because the reserves also help cover any emergency purchases that come up. Say we have a water main break or something we need to purchase, that typically will come out of those reserves as like a savings account.
And then on the tour of the plant, it was mentioned that the numbers that we're projecting here don't include any cost savings from being able to reutilize the gas or energy savings. Do we have any sense of what that would look like?
So I thought about your question, and I cannot answer that right now, just because I don't know, I don't have anything to base it off of. I'm not using any gas, so once if possibly we could start producing gas and using it, then I could answer that question. I think every plant would be different. I could have called other places, but they're handling different wastewater. How much are they taking? It's just so hard to answer that question at this time.
But phase 3 will give us the ability
Phase 3
to
will
do
give
that.
it, yes, to use biogas in our plant to heat the facility.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yes.
Next.
One other thing that Brian didn't mention either is that, with the new technology that we're putting in, the new electrical technology we're putting in, we're gonna have, and mechanical technology, we're gonna have efficiencies there too, but we don't know what those are gonna be. But we're gonna have, it's not gonna be 1958 anymore, right? It's gonna be something that we're gonna be able to look at and work all the time, make it better. So, just the last slide that we didn't have in here the last time. This is something that we got to sign by the first part of December if we decide to go. Like I've told you before, Eagle gives us this money, but they hold our feet to the fire. And they give us pretty aggressive schedules. The good thing is that we've been through this twice now, so we got some of the items that we would have had to do before, we don't have to do anything now because we've already submitted it. So I worked out the schedule on the right would be the one that we would probably have to do for the fourth quarter, but this one on the left is one I worked out with Eagle. She's calling it a hybrid, and gives us a few extra weeks to put our project together. But we're still looking at bidding the project in the middle to late June. We're talking, $30 million project by June. Our first big thing that we have to turn in, the Eagle, is like 65% plans. On a plant like this, the plan sets are about this thick. And we have to do that in the first week in February, so. And it might seem like a long time, but we got Thanksgiving, Christmas, so we don't have very many weeks to do that, so. Anyways, so that was the presentation again. So, any more questions?
Thank you, everybody. Any more questions? Any comments or?
Nope.
We-
There would just be two motions before the commission if they are ready to move forward with approval of this phase 3.
We appreciate the in-depth presentation and especially giving us advance warning with the presentation at the last meeting. And I just want to commend you all for doing a great job at being proactive. Unfortunately, we're all paying for the sins of the past. These, to have installation in 1958 and 1986 and never having any real maintenance done to them and no upgrades is inexcusable. When we look at the rates that we're looking at, and when we look at the rates of our other communities, it appears that are a lot higher. The reason those rates are there is because at some point in time, the community didn't have the political will to do the projects that they should have done. And it costs a heck of a lot more to do them when you're against the wall. And if we don't do these now, when we have preferable financing rates of 2%, and if we don't have principal forgiveness, then when these breaks happen, when the Eagle pushes us harder, when we get that order, it will cost the users a lot more money. So it's a situation where none of us are happy about having to raise rates. None of us are happy about having to take on more debt as a city, but these are projects that must be done, and I think the conditions are unfortunate, but we haven't done a great job at maintaining our facilities, and you are doing a much better job than we had in the past, and we appreciate that. And sorry, you're the ones getting the brunt of the kick in the pants when we have these big projects coming forward, and it's scary. And like I said, we don't like it, and I know that the users don't like to see it happen. But to move forward, we have to have these improvements done. So, Commissioner Rubenstein.
Just another comment. It was pretty jarring walking through that plant. In literally every room, it was 75% of this isn't working, 75% of that isn't working. So it was pretty eye-opening to see again. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Any other comments? Commissioner Talentino.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, just to kind of mirror what the mayor said on that. You know, they're doing things, we're trying to approve and get things done that should have been done 30 years ago. You know, like the terminology, kicking it down, kicking the can down the road. It's gone on way long enough, So I realize none of us like to make this decision. This decision should have been made and started approximately 30 years ago. It wasn't, to mirror what the mayor said. And this is just something that's it needs to get done. It needs to happen. Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to make, there are two separate motions. Commissioner Talentino.
Sure, Your Honor. Motion to accept the fiscal year 2026 Clean Water State Revolving Fund Phase 3 funding award for Eagle and to authorize the acting city manager to execute all necessary agreements.
Support.
Motion support. Any other comments? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Talentino.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to establish a budget for the 2026 CWSRF project in the amount of $35,120,000 funding with an SRF loan of $30,554,400 and principal forgiveness grant for $4,565,600 as presented.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. Thank you very much,
Great.
all four of you.
Thanks.
Thank
System
you.
thanks you too.
Yeah, you'll have to add another page to your work to do next year. Take lots of pictures. All right, moving on into G, business items. Number 2, Acting City Manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 2 is downtown sidewalk snow removal funding options. This item's been before the commission a couple times. It came back at the last meeting from Commissioner Rubenstein and was referred back to administration to look at funding options. It was brought before the DDA board at their November 12th meeting, and the DDA board made a decision to proceed with billing of the downtown business owners for the snow removal with the assistance of the finance department, and approve the budget amendment to increase both the revenue and expense by $12,300, bringing it up to the higher price as awarded by the city commission at the previous meeting. If you recall, the bid was awarded to Matheny. for the services downtown this winter season. I would concur with the recommendation of the DDA board, so the recommended action is motion to proceed with collecting funds from the downtown business owners for the purpose of financing sidewalk snow removal.
Thank you, Acting City Manager. Commissioner Rubenstein, any comments, questions, thoughts?
Pretty sure it was decided that we have to abstain, correct? From any of
Yeah,
this,
true.
so I
Yeah.
can't make any
Good point.
comment.
Yeah, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Commissioner Marvel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to proceed with collecting funds from downtown business owners for the purpose of financing sidewalk snow removal.
Support.
Motion and support. Any comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have 2 abstentions, so passed on a 4 vote. Moving on into G, business items, number 3, Acting City Manager Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is just a discussion item on goal-setting session. We are developing the budget calendar for the upcoming fiscal year budget process, and I wanted to gauge the commission's interest in scheduling a goal-setting session as part of that budget process. So it really, I'm just looking for some direction from the city commission if they want to have a goal-setting session in January or February and roll it into the budget process, or if they would like to defer and do goal setting at a later date.
Thank you, Acting City Manager. And I know we've done it 2 different ways in the past. One was we had an internal goal setting that was put on by the city manager or staff. And then the other we had talked about was hiring a consultant to do goal setting for us, and those options are still available, and there are several different areas, people that could do that for us. So it would be up to the commission to decide. It certainly is going to be an effort that we are all going to need to be at this goal session to make it fruitful. So, discussion. Commissioner Bauer.
Just a couple of things real quick. I think everyone here around the dais is aware that I've really been banging the drum for goal setting. It's been way too long. There are people here who have not even, participated in one goal setting session since they've been on the commission through no fault of theirs. I don't necessarily believe that we need a consultant to help us with this, but I will say this, that it makes all the sense in the world to do this before the budget process and not after. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever to set our goals after we've already come out with the budget. That's ridiculous.
Agreed. Commissioner Marble.
Once again, I agree with Commissioner Bauer.
Mr. Rubenstein.
I think the big question is finding a time that all of us can be there, because that can be the biggest challenge. So I don't know if, a lot of us, some of us could certainly take vacation to make it happen, but I can't speak for everyone up here. But that's really the key, to make sure all of us can be there.
Agreed. So it sounds like consensus is before goal setting, and you're all okay if we have it, or budget, and then we do an internal type of, she can dig out the Spencer Naval Manual. I still have one, I think. Okay. Is that consensus?
So is the commission available for a full day in January or February on a Monday? Would you prefer to, instead of having a regular city commission meeting, use a regular city commission meeting Monday to do it? Historically, it's been, a full day session. And we've done them, it was like the second Monday in February, full day, I think you recall.
I would say that by its very nature, it needs to be a full day. I mean, if you're only gonna do it in an hour or two, then why even bother? You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
So we'll shoot for a Monday, full day session.
Okay.
In January or February, and so we can do a doodle poll or something, just,
I'm in.
okay.
All right.
Perfect, thanks for bringing that forward. H, city manager announcements and updates. Looks like you've got a couple there.
Yep, so our next meeting, our December 1st meeting is going to be held up at Lake State, so special thanks to them for hosting us again this year. I did find out late today that the audit presentation will not be ready for the December 1st meeting, so we will just have our regular meeting up at Lake State, 7 p.m., and then the audit presentation will be before the commission at the December 15th meeting, which will be back here. So question to the commission, we can have the auditors come and do the presentation at 6 p.m. on the 15th here, or we could have them present during the regular meeting. Is there a preference from the commission?
Any thoughts? Mr.
I was gonna say just do it during the meeting. I think it only took half hour-ish, 45 minutes, so just do it during the regular meeting.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we'll have them present during the regular meeting on December 15th, which will be here.
All right.
And then the next item is just the Parker Ace Hardware Parade of Lights, which is this Friday at November 28th at 7 p.m. We will have a city float in the parade this year, so if any city commissioners are interested, or mayor, in riding on that float, just let me know, and have a seat. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. So, moving on into item I, which is matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? I would. Sure. Like, come forward and state your name for the record, please.
I'm Alex Levitan. Good
Alex.
evening. I'm here with Cassie Mailport and Cindy on Merlot. We live on St. Mary's Drive, which is right next to Wild Bill's, the hotel, whatever you'd like to call that.
Okay.
And Cassie and I, we just moved here a few months ago, but to John and Cindy's, we had discussions with them since moving in, and apparently last year, the plow service stopped plowing half of St. Mary's Drive, which is a city road, and they would even, in doing so, in plowing, they would build up the berm when they would turn onto Man Drive, just leaving, I don't know how high the snow was, but it was impossible for them to get out of the road. And when I heard them say that the city stopped plowing the road, we were like, we have to get this addressed before the snow comes, and that's why we're here, to make sure that that road is plowed. And it's sort of a weird residential, I guess, like road construction, that St. Mary's, there's a second half of it that ends on Man Drive, and I'm not sure if that part of the road is plowed, but if that's plowed, then I don't know why our portion of St. Mary's Drive would not be plowed, and that's why we're here today. And I guess secondly, too, I'm not sure why, if it is a city road, why it's not paved. It's gravel. The first portion is paved, and then the second half of where our houses are, it's unpaved. So that's also something that doesn't make sense to me either. So I guess it's the snow removal, and as well as why that road isn't paved.
Okay. If you want to, after the meeting, we could get you city manager's phone number, and I don't think our DPW director is here tonight, but
No,
we can get you in touch with them and get you some answers.
Yeah, I believe there's a private use agreement for that section of roadway, but if we can connect, I'll get your number and I can follow up with you tomorrow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for coming. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll move into item J, which is matters presented by the city commission. City commissioners, anybody? Be quiet, Commissioner Bauer.
Your Honor, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are